Hey guys, Dave Darren here. It's great to see some guys joining the show here. Let's see who we got right now, and then I'm going to bring the topic up right away. I've got Wendy here. How's it going, Wendy? I only mentioned first names, by the way. I've got John here. How's it going, John? Azariana. How's it going? And Tim, how's it going, guys? I love to see you guys. Tonight I want to talk about something that actually scares the daylights out of me. And it freaks the daylights out of me, and maybe it does you guys. Maybe you're interested enough or freaked out enough to call up during this show, but the unknown scares me. It paralyzes me. Maybe because I'm such a guy that likes a lot of order, and I'm not a control freak or anything like that, but things freak me out that I don't understand. So I want to understand them more, and I want to be less spooked by this stuff. So you ever think of the universe, okay? If you're one of these guys that thinks about like the Big Bang Theory, if you believe in the Big Bang Theory, some people believe in more of a religious beginning to our universe. But let's take it from you could talk about a whole another realm of topics if you believe in the religious upbringing of the universe. But let's talk about it from the Big Bang Theory this evening, and then maybe we'll get into the religious concepts of it as well. If you think about the Big Bang Theory, it started at one point. One centralized explosion. We don't know where that came from. That freaks me out. Where did it come from? How did it have an origin? Everything has to have a state of beginning, a state of origin. Where did it come from? That we can't conceive that. What created that initial impact? And then it expands into something from nothingness. So you have the Big Bang, and the universe from that centralized point is expanding from something that was nothing. That nothingness freaks me out. I don't like the lack of understanding of what nothingness is. And the other thing that freaks me out is death. Some people say that we never die, especially if you're a religious person. You think that your life continues, and if you believe in a heaven, then you're going to live forever. That living forever is almost like the expanding universe into nothingness. When we live forever, we're living forever in something that has never existed yet. It's nothingness, but we're going to live from now into that nothingness and keep on going forever. That state of being, of forever living, is something that is really, really frightening to me. Does it frighten you guys? I'm curious. And I'd like you guys tonight to call in. I know there's been a lot of silent voices here, and that's a shame because the show is not supposed to be about me. It's supposed to be about me trying to launch an idea that we can all talk about, but we all got to talk about it. So it's kind of brutal to read the chats and see what you guys are all saying. You changed your shirt. I did. Actually, to be honest with you, I think I have 34 shirts of the wacky style. This is a mellow shirt here. Except if I turn in the back, you see it's not a mellow shirt at all. So this one happens to be a mellow shirt in the front and a wild shirt in the back. I think I've got like 38 of these shirts, and I've got about 42 watches, and they're all whacked out watches too. I'm not wearing any tonight. I'm not even wearing any jewelry because I got kind of caught doing the show at the last minute here, trying to get on as quickly as I could from being out bike riding today a little bit. Now I had to take a shower, so I look a little cleaner, right? But back to the topic, the universe. I watched this thing on YouTube. You can scan a bunch of stuff on YouTube. It's amazing. And they're talking about the universe. Now, I know a lot of people, maybe they're not worried because this is billions of years, billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of years before everything comes to a potential halt, a potential freeze point. Do you believe in that freeze point? Do you think that eventually everything is going to freeze up at a standstill, which could include our life, even if we're living forever? Is there going to be an end to what you believe to be as a God? Is the God not really eternal? Is it like the universe, which we think of upon billions and billions? When I watch this video, they count like 9 billions. You know, they put billion, 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 billion. So we're talking about billions upon billions upon billions of years before potentially the universe runs out of energy. And it runs out of energy, by the way, you know, the first thing is our sun's going to turn dormant. It's going to lose all of its ability to create the energy that it has. And once it does, it's going to supposedly expand out and just kind of swell up with the lack of energy that I guess keeps things churning and keeps things internal. Finally, when it runs out of that steam and that energy, it's going to explode outward, and all of the oceans on Earth are going to evaporate. And of course, all life on Earth will be gone. But they say this will happen to every single sun. Every single star will run out of energy. And of course, that doesn't concern us now. But doesn't it fascinate you right now? It fascinates me right now. Fascinates me more than politics does, that's for sure. Or anything else. The universe fascinates me. UFOs fascinate me. I don't know anything about UFOs. I've never seen one. But the concept of them existing fascinates me from a perspective, because I don't think we're the only beings in the universe, the expanding universe. And when you think of the expanding universe, you think about Earth is a young planet. From what I've read, our sun is a relatively young sun. So that means that as the Big Bang started, the earlier developments are closer in. As it expands outward, things on the outward bounds, would they be newer or would they be older? Let me think about this. Or you guys, I'll tell you what, you guys don't forget to call. I'm going to put it out here again. Let's see some other people. I'll just say hello to people. You need a Jimmy Buffett shirt. I do have I have a Beach Boys shirt. I've got one of them. I'll wear that next time for Azariana. Patrick joined. How's it going, Patrick? He says, "Hey, Dave." You know not to say hi, Dave, because I'm not high at nights. I'm not even boozed up. So it fascinates. The universe fascinates me. Does it fascinate you guys? Do you think there's going to be an end to our universe? Do you think the planets are going to be all? Supposedly, what's going to happen is each star, and this is what can freak you out. And I'm going to bring this on to another freaky aspect of this as well. Supposedly our sun is going to be dead, which means that all of our solar system, every single planet, that maybe there's life on some of these outer planets that we don't know about. Maybe it's life that's less formed than we are, less intelligent, or maybe we don't know. It could be more intelligent than us. It just has no interest in Earth. It's one of the moons out there in Saturn or Neptune that we've studied them from afar, but can you really study them from afar and really know what's going on there? And then there's these giant Earth-like planets that we've seen from a huge distance, and these Earth-like planets could very well have life on them, and maybe they just have not the capabilities to reach us, and maybe they don't even have the capabilities to visualize the fact that we're there. Maybe they do. And since we've seen them, maybe they've seen us, but to communicate with them is an impossibility. But basically, to get back to the universe, supposedly all of these things are going to go away. All of the suns, all of the stars are going to burn up all of their energy and become these white dwarfs. And the universe is going to become dark and cold. We got a caller here. Let's see who this is. It's great to have a caller, by the way. Hey, this is Dave Barron. How are you?
Hi, this is Azariana.
Hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. I see you on chat. Now you're calling in. This is great.
Yeah, great. I usually get voicemail when I call this number.
Oh, you know, I've got to figure out a way to... When it should be ringing every time, and I should never get a voicemail because I should hear it ringing. But nevertheless, there you go. Here you are. Where are you calling from, by the way? Where are you?
From Connecticut.
Connecticut. I've been in Connecticut. I love Connecticut. Very green and very nice in Connecticut. I was in Southbury, Connecticut, not to deviate from the show, but I was in Southbury. Are you close to Southbury? Do you know where that is?
I know where Southbury is. No, I'm closer to New Haven.
New Haven. I used to go to a place called Gotham City. You ever hear of that place?
Yeah, I have.
There we
Yep.
go. Small world, small universe. What are you calling about?
Yeah, well, you were saying about the universe,
Yep.
and I have a theory about that.
Love to hear it because I've got only things that I can talk about. I love for the callers to call in and tell me everything they understand or any theory they got. So what do you got going on?
Okay, well, my theory is that we are experiments for UFOs or aliens, and that if we fail and kill the planet, like they were the creators, they created Earth, they created us, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if we mess up, that they're not gonna, they might not help us, like we're a mistake for them, like we messed up.
So do you think that they are monitoring us on a fairly frequent basis? If we mess up and we mess up to the degree that we damage the planet but don't destroy it, are they going to come here and destroy us because they consider us beings that don't deserve to live? What do you think about that?
Well, yeah. Well, I was, on another note, I was abducted since I was 5 years old by aliens or UFOs or whatever. And I was tracked until I was, in my 30s. In my 30s. So they're definitely come visit and they keep an eye on us.
Wow.
And they're scary.
Yeah. Did they communicate with you, or was it just kind of they were experimenting on you, trying to understand you? But were you able to have any communication with them at all? Any ability to understand them more thoroughly than them trying to dissect and understand you? What was the conversation, if there was one, or any form of communication like?
Well, I knew when they were coming. I had kind of like, I don't know, a sixth sense, maybe, that there were times when I knew that they were going to be coming in the area where I was living at the time. And I was given, I would say, a token since I was a child. And it was very odd. It was like a rock, but it was built it looked like a pyramid, or on a simpler term, a Hershey's Kiss, like that.
Yeah.
But it was gray, but it wasn't a metal, it wasn't a rock, I don't know what it was. But it was like very light, and it had a certain, I'm trying to think of the word. It had a certain feel to it when they were going to be in the area. And I got used to it, but I was always nervous for myself and eventually my family as a result of it.
So I was going to ask you if they gave you any sense of like an ESP to sense that they were coming, but you just said this device that they gave you was kind of that communication tool to tell you that they were sort of on their way, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, did you try to avoid them because now you were at a younger age? So I'm sure initially, did it scare the daylights out of you? I would imagine it would, and did it?
Well, initially they appeared friendly.
Oh.
And human form and very friendly. But as I got older and as they continued to visit, it got, I didn't like it,
Yeah.
It was moreover bad experiences and things like that,
Yeah. How frequent was it? You said from age 5 to age 30. Was it like a routine thing where it was could you figure out, was it frequent like that, or was it so random that you really couldn't figure it out?
No, it was pretty frequent.
Pretty frequent. Wow. Why? Go ahead.
Like I said, I tried to get rid of this thing they gave me, this little rock they gave me, or pyramid that they gave me.
Uh-huh.
But I couldn't, every time I tried to get rid of it, it was always there, which totally freaked me out even more.
Oh, absolutely. That would freak anyone out. Of course it would. Was it the same aliens that were abducting you, or was it different ones, or could you even tell?
I think it was the same ones.
Same ones. Okay, okay. And like I said, did they? What? Now they abducted you for what purpose? Did they abduct you? And it's the typical sci-fi thing that you see, that silver bed that you're laying on, and they're probing and studying you. Or when they abducted you, you said in the beginning was friendly. So was it? Then they appeared human. So let me slow down a bit because I'm getting a little out of control here. They appeared friendly. Did they bring you to a friendly environment, like an Earth-like look to it, to get
Yes.
you? They did. Okay, so they brought you to a more friendly environment, and they appear human. Are they communicating with you in a language that could not? Maybe it was English, maybe it wasn't. But did they have an ability to verbally talk to you to keep you at ease?
No, it was telepathically.
Telepathic, but there was an understanding. There was an understanding in the telepathic. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I usually traveled or was taken to another, I would say another Earth, or another Earth. I would compare it to Earth, what we're living on. But it was different because it had 2 suns and 2 moons.
Wow. Okay.
And they were more, and every time I would go, they would show me things about Earth, about the history of Earth, how it was created, languages, things like that, future things, all kinds of different things.
You're brought to this other planet, a very Earth-like planet, but you, even at a very young age, you realize it is different than Earth because obviously at the age of 5, we have 1 sun and 1 moon. Now you're seeing doubles of these things. So you're off of Earth, but you're communicating telepathically with these people that look like they're Earth beings. So you're somewhat at ease? You're okay with that? Or you seem like you were, right?
Well, yeah, they always would tell me that, there were certain people, not just me, but certain people that they kind of chose.
Okay, so
I'm not trying to be like egotistical or anything. I'm definitely not like that. But that they chose to tell things to, give information to, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe they thought I could do something about it.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. So now these abductions have continued. When did it become different than less friendly? You mentioned it was friendly in the beginning. You were at ease. It was a fascinating thing for you. When did it convert to being something a little less friendly, a little more eerie, a little more spooky? When did that happen?
Well, in my 20s, they said that. Well, I don't know how to really put it the right way, but I don't know if you've heard of like hybrids.
Of course, right. Now, hybrids meaning cross between alien and human hybrid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had I had experiences with that, and I didn't like that. I was kind of forced into that.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I asked, how come this is happening? How come you're doing this? You've always been nice, or it's always appeared nice, all my experiences. And it kind of changed, and they would never give me an answer.
Wow. But you were still able to communicate with them telepathically. Now, at this point, did they look more like aliens and were less Earth-like looking creatures? did they even change?
Yeah.
They changed their look as well.
It kind of changed. They changed from a human form to like the Greys, like what the typical Greys,
Right. And at that point, were you then no longer on the planet that resembled Earth, even though it was 2 moons and 2 suns? Were you then on a more alien type of, were you on a spaceship instead of a planet, which looked more peaceful? Were you then in a more scientific environment for research rather than more of a nice place to visit, almost like a vacation? Were you more in that isolated, less friendly, more, where were you at this point?
Yeah, it was kind of like that. It was kind of like a medical facility, I would say.
Right.
And they had what I would say female caretakers of hybrid children, kind of.
Wow.
And I had seen, and they would always, and one of them, whoever was, I don't know, talking to me or I don't know what her job was, or I'd say her, but, she came off as female, but she would show me like a nursery and different babies and like little nurseries and babies developing and things like that, stuff like that.
Now, do you think, hopefully you don't think this is insensitive of me to ask this, but do you think that they brought you on board to breed a hybrid child between yourself and an alien? Were you brought there for breeding purposes?
Yes.
You were?
I had four pregnancies.
And so you had did you have 4 hybrid children? Did you have potentially more, but maybe did you have twins? Or not to be joking about it at all, because I'm not, but did you have 4 children, and did you see the 4 hybrid children that you had?
Yes, I did.
You saw them?
I saw them, and I had 4 separate pregnancies.
Wow. Now, when you saw them, did they look very different than you? Because it was a hybrid between yourself and an alien. And in the beginning, the aliens looked like human form, but later on, they looked more like the Greys. So did your children look camouflaged to look fully human, or did they look like hybrids?
In the beginning, when they were babies, or what I would say a baby, is they looked human. As they got older, they could shapeshift. So you could see them as human, or you could see them as their natural form.
Wow. Now, let me figure this out, because now you said you were abducted first at age 5, and it lasted until you were age 30. Now, you said that it started changing at the age of 20. So at 20, they were obviously, since you had 4 pregnancies, they were utilizing you to create the hybrid race of alien/human. So now at the age of 20, where it began, and when it concluded at the age of 30, I'm going to ask you why it concluded, by the way, but so that's a 10-year period. So if you had your first child at, say, age 20, by the time 30 arose, your child would be 10 years old of human age. Now, it may be very different for their age span and their lifespan. So did you see a child at the age of 30, if you were still seeing your children growing up, did you see your child throughout the age of birth, throughout the potentially age of human years of 10? Did you see the progress of this being, your child?
Well, they grow. It was explained that they live longer.
Okay.
Their lifespan is longer, and that even though they age or seem to age quicker, they're still learning. There's a lot to learn. Huh. So even though they could look like human and act like human, they're not physically 10 years old. They're not physically, 5. They're not. It's different.
They age quicker, so that their maturity level is quicker, but they live longer. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, how about were you able to communicate with them? They're your child. You met them. You met them periodically throughout their growth period for this long period of time. Were you communicating with them via now because they're hybrids, so they're half human, half alien. So did they have the ability to communicate with you via vocal cords and talk to you human to human? Were they able to reflect that communication aspect and ability?
Yes, in the beginning,
In the beginning.
when they were, I would say, smaller or less mature.
And as they matured, the communication didn't end. It went to telepathy as the form of communication, because I'm assuming you were still communicating with them, even though it wasn't via vocal cords at that point.
Right. As they grew, it went to telepathy. It did, and then they lost, or they wouldn't vocalize, even though they could recognize me and I could recognize them. It was telepathy.
Wow. Now, was that relationship a mother-child loving type of relationship, or was it very different and more of a here's the product of our experimentation? What was the relationship like?
Well, it certainly wasn't a mother-child type relationship. It was moreover, oh, look, here's your, I don't know, trying to be polite. Here's where you started. Here's the first part, like your donor, that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't anything, like any kind of relationship, mother-child relationship.
Wow. Okay. Did you happen to know who the offspring that your child was from you? Did you meet the father, the alien creature that was the father of the being? Did you meet this individual or entity or whatever you want to call the counterpart to you?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
I wonder why you don't remember. Was it because maybe your brain was manipulated? Because obviously, did you want to meet your counterpart? Did you want to?
I don't know if it was a choice or if it was just dare I say a job?
Huh.
I'm sorry if I don't say it right.
No, it's okay. It's fine. You're doing great.
That's what you do.
Were each of the children very different? Like, for instance, if you think of an experiment, you think about the first part of the experiment as being your first attempt. Now, I'm sure that these aliens probably, most definitely, had other experiments running at the same time, maybe even before you and probably since you. So I'm curious, was your first child different than the second, third, and fourth?
Yes.
Yes. In what ways?
Well, I noticed two were very light skinned, almost albino.
Okay.
But they were female. The two males had like a brownish type girls, and the females had different. It seemed as though different light reflections in their eyes as opposed to what would be male.
Right. Wow. This is fast. So I'm curious about the. Okay. So the physical nature of them look different. How about the mental capabilities, or for instance, someone that's born of families in the United States here or anywhere, of course, anywhere in the planet Earth. They'll have their first child. Maybe their first child will be more into sports and have that capability. The next child will be very musically inclined. The next one might be a scientist. So how about your four children, their mentalities or their intellect, things like that, did they vary significantly? Not at all? Slightly? Or
well,
how about that?
Most of them were, the males were scientific scientifically inclined.
Okay.
The females were more language and history oriented.
Huh.
I learned, or I was shown, different forms of what was told to me as, quote, dead languages. And when I go to different museums and things like that, I do like history and things like that, and I see all these different languages, these ancient languages.
Right.
They look similar. They look similar to that. And hieroglyphics. Sometimes I can read hieroglyphics, and sometimes I could read what would be the Mayans, like in Machu Picchu or the Mayans.
Wow.
Wherever.
So in other words, your intelligent level, your intellect, your abilities have now been enhanced to some degree.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm curious. So let me think of my next question, because I don't want to jump ahead too quickly. So as you're meeting your 4 children, you're meeting them in this more clinical environment, and you're not meeting them on an Earth-like looking planet. You're meeting them in a more clinical environment now, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Were they teaching you at all? They're your children now. They're hybrids. Obviously, you've met them periodically during your abductions. Now, between your abduction periods, obviously they're with the alien race of beings that they're being raised in that. They're being raised there. They're not being raised on Earth by you. They're being raised by the aliens. So that when you re-meet them every time, are your children helping you to grow as a human? Are they encouraging you in some way? Like, are they encouraging you and say the human species is a horrible species? Look at all the fighting, all the. Are they trying to make you a better human being? Your own children?
Well, I think so. And the various messages that they've given me, I've written down, but I've never given it to anybody. So they want me to pass it down, but it's scary, so I don't. I just keep everything to myself.
You keep everything to yourself.
And the things that I see, maybe because of that, because of them or my experiences, are quite scary. So I tend to keep everything, inward, inside, and I don't really say a lot about it.
Okay.
But it's more like deja vu with all the events that are happening now. So it's definitely worrying me.
Okay. Now I'm curious about this. In the beginning of the program here, you said that human beings on this particular planet are kind of seated here as an experiment, and if we fail, we're destined to be potentially destroyed by these alien beings that are basically, I guess, our founding fathers of planet Earth. That's what we're getting at. That's so far what I said is true, right?
Yes.
Okay, now your children, the 4 children that you had is hybrid 4 children. So you are, in fact, their mother. Do they recognize you as someone special, by the way? Do they recognize you as a special being?
Yes, they did.
They do. So they recognize you as a special being that is from planet Earth. And do they realize you're an experiment here? Do they realize the human race is an experiment? Do they realize that?
I think they do. But I've also been shown that on the planet, the one with the 2 suns and the 2 moons, that they've advanced to the point that there's no pollution, there's no wars. Everything is in balance. Nature is in balance. Everyone gets along, and it's and and it's a very peaceful place. And if they do, and that, you know, I've been shown that. I don't know if I'll, you know, end up there, but it's a very coexisting place. If that's the right word, I can't.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that you may wind up there, because what I was going to get at next is, okay, so you have 4 hybrid children that came from you and the alien race who live for the most part away from you, but you engage with them periodically. You said that they recognize you as a special being because you are their mother, if they recognize the word mother or the meaning of it. But whether they don't realize that close relationship, they do realize it. You are a special being to them. And you said that you think they realize that planet Earth is an experiment for the beings of Earth to either live up to the expectations that the aliens, or the moral expectations that the aliens have put on human beings. So do you believe that your children want to rescue you from a potential devastation? Because I'm sure that the aliens don't think we're doing a particularly good job here on Earth. Because I don't think we're doing a particularly good job. So do you think that your children want to rescue you?
It could be possible. It could be possible.
Do you think that the rescued people, the good people on Earth, because there's still a lot of good people on Earth. The other planet that you saw that resembles Earth with 2 suns and 2 moons, is that the place that the aliens are going to take the better beings from planet Earth and move them to this other better Earth, and everyone that's still on Earth here are the people that are going to be destroyed? Is that the way it's going to go?
I think so.
Wow.
At least that's what I interpret it as.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
You know,
Wow.
I think that there are other people, male and female, you know, on the Earth that have been, let's say, chosen and have had the same experiences that I have. And if we are going to that planet, it is a good possibility. It is.
Wow. Now, the chosen people, which you were one of the chosen people to help build the hybrid race, have you met any of the other chosen people? Have you met other beings from planet Earth there to become hybrid experiments for the hybrid of human alien race that they're creating? Have you met others?
Yes.
You have. Have some of them been male? For instance, there could be female aliens there. Of course there are. Are there any males there? You're a female there creating the race. Are there human males there as well?
I believe I met one.
One. Okay. Now
and there was another female.
Okay, so you met a couple. Did you get the feeling, having met them, that they are the handpicked, chosen people, that the aliens have decided these are the great people that we want to build our hybrid race? Do you get that?
I think so.
What?
I think so, because we didn't have to talk. We saw each other, and then it was like, oh wow, I know you, and the other one was like, oh boy, she's like that, you know. So it was kind of like telepathy.
Yeah. The hybrids, for instance, your children are living right now. Are your hybrid children living for the most part in space, or are they living for the most part on this alternate Earth with the 2 suns and the 2 moons? Where are they mostly living?
Well, I would say they probably do work, probably space.
In space, okay. Now the race of being that's being created, these hybrid beings, and we talked about the better people on Earth, potentially, of course you're not sure of this, moving from planet Earth to this alternate planet Earth with the 2 suns and the 2 moons. Is there going to be a cohabitation of these hybrid aliens slash humans integrated with the people on this second planet Earth? Is it going to be a co-inhabitance of the best Earth beings and the cohabitation of the Earth beings that were mated with the aliens to form the hybrids, and we all live together in this better utopia? Is that what's going on?
I think so, yes.
Wow, fascinating, fascinating. Wow. Now, why did it stop at you said at age 30 it stopped. Did it stop totally, like at a dead stop for some reason, and you had no idea, or how did it end?
Well, I had this, like I said, this little rock or pyramid-shaped object.
Right. Uh-huh.
And after my pregnancies or the hybrids, I said, this has to stop. I don't want any more to do with you.
Wow.
And as a result, I tried to, I would say, destroy or damage this object.
Right.
I tried to give it away. I tried to do various things. And after a while, they just came and took it.
They took it?
And they came and took it.
Okay. Wow. And that's how it ended. Kind of abruptly at that point it ended.
Yeah, well, it's starting up again, and I don't like it.
It's starting up, and now do you mind me asking how old you are now? Is that appropriate? Do you mind?
I'm 1 year older than you, sir.
Okay, okay, so, okay. And people know how old I am. I'm 60, so you're 61. So it's been 31 years, and now it's starting up again. Now, at 61, they probably have analyzed human beings are incapable at this age of having children. Although maybe scientifically, it's not an incapability for them to be able to give you the ability to create more children. So why are you scared at this moment? Why are you scared?
Because I worry about my family.
Your family.
And I don't want them to go through the same thing that I went through.
Makes sense.
I was like, if they do, it was explained to me that if you are chosen, quote, that your family, your personal family, is also being watched.
Right, I would imagine so. Right. Now,
and I don't like that, and I don't want that.
Yeah. Now, at age 30, did you have like a husband, and did you have children with your husband? Obviously, via your husband and yourself. Now you had totally human children, or did you have that? What was happening at age 30?
Yeah, I had, well, by the time before I was 30, I had 5 children.
You had 5 children. So during the time that you were being abducted, you had a family, obviously a human family on planet Earth with a husband. And throughout the course of this, you had a variety of children, 5 children. So now you said that when you're abducted, your family is being watched. Did you get any idea from your family that anything happened with any of them? Did they ever tell you anything strangely happened, or anything at all?
Well, some of my family members have certain, I call them gifts, that I have. And it has been passed down. I don't know if it was something that, I don't know if it's something extra that they were given, or I don't know if it was something that I had passed down.
Wow, that's fascinating. So I'm curious, during the time that you had your family and your children and you were being abducted, were you abducted for very brief periods of time so your family did not realize something's going on with mom? She's not in a room. How did they take you without your family knowing you were abducted for that period of time?
Yes.
What was the period of time the same amount of time in Earth minutes as it was alien minutes? In other words, you're abducted and you could be abducted for an hour off of planet Earth. And it could be 3 weeks in UFO space time. What was the time equivalent, or was there a difference?
The most that I can remember is that I have blocks of at least 2 hours missing over the years.
Okay.
Whereas I would look at a clock and it could be 8 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And then the next time I look at a clock, it's 10 o'clock, and I go, wow, what happened? You know?
Yeah. So for that 2 hours, so for that 2 hours you were abducted, did it seem like 2 hours where you were? Or whether it was that other planet with the moons, the 2 moons and the 2 suns, or on the spacecraft being abducted in a more scientific, clinical type of environment, did it seem like the same amount of time, or did the 2 hours of lapse time seem to be, from your perspective, in that time of abduction, a longer period of time or a shorter period of time, or maybe the same? I don't know.
No, it was longer.
Longer.
There, it was longer there.
Yeah, that's
but
what.
The time span is different.
Okay. Okay. Now in now you're scared about having situations occur again currently. So what has taken place? Do you have a new communication device? Before you had the pyramid, do you now have another communication device that now suddenly has appeared and it's in your grasp, and you know this is starting to happen again or going to happen again? What's taking place now for you to have the newfound fear?
No, it's just that on some nights I get that, or I would say, a creepy feeling.
Right.
And it just feels like, well, I should watch out, you know? And it seems as though when I look at the stars or the sky, it's not only that. There's always something else.
Do you think maybe you shouldn't be scared? Because recently on planet Earth, we're starting to come into some people think the planet's going to end in someone thinks it's going to end in like 7 years or something like that. Do you think that the communications that are coming are warnings to you to get prepared, and maybe you shouldn't be as scared as you think you should be? Maybe you should be less scared because what do you think?
No.
Okay.
We should start preparing.
We should start preparing. Wow.
Yes.
So we should start preparing for the end of the potential Earth-like planet with the people on it. We should start panicking and we should start worrying, right? Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Because the aliens have already judged us as being inferior and not to their standards. Have we already been judged?
I think so. I mean, because we keep repeating past things. We keep repeating our past histories.
Wow.
It hasn't changed. We go to war, and we keep going to war for various issues. You know, the government doesn't change. The government, is acting a certain way. So I do think that it's, it's a scary time.
Yeah. Now, if we are related to these aliens, and you believe that we are, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that they would give us an intervention? Like there was that movie, what was it? The Day the Earth Stood Still, where there was a human that was brought to another planet, and years or decades later, whatever it was, he landed on the planet Earth and gave us a warning, actually an intervention, to say if we don't clean up our act, we're not going to have an act to clean up anymore because we're going to be cleaned off the planet. Do you think that these aliens that have been abducting you and have hybrid aliens, and we have a place to go to, the best people on Earth have a second planet to go to, do you think that they might give us one last shot and give us an intervention to say, okay, now I'm here as an alien, we've been monitoring you, you are our children, clean up your act, or in 10 years from today, we're going to disintegrate the planet Earth? Will there be an intervention at all, or do you think there won't be?
I think they have tried and will keep trying until that time.
Huh.
But I don't know if we as humans will listen.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe if we, there's been UFO. Do you think that the UFOs that people see and have UFO sightings, is it the same? By the way, is it one alien species and not other ones? Is it one alien species that is visiting us that we're the children of? Is it one species of alien?
No, there's various kinds.
Various kinds. Wow. And are they all like a collective community that all has an interest in planet Earth because maybe each one of these alien races has formed an experiment together of unity to populate planet Earth? So they're all overseeing us? Is that what's going on?
No, there are some species of aliens that are quite different than the ones I had experiences with, and they're not good. They're
not good. Okay, so there are the good aliens, and the good aliens, for the most part, are the ones that did a good deed by giving us their offspring a planet to live on, to experiment, and do the best we can, with the judgment point being that they might get rid of us. So, but those are the good aliens. The bad aliens just want to get rid of us anyway, or what's the scoop with that?
Well, the good aliens keep trying. I mean, but the bad aliens. Well, I say the bad aliens. Yeah. They come and they're very hurtful. They'll keep coming.
Yeah, are they fighting with each other? Like, are there wars in space? Like we talk about Star Wars, we got Star Trek and all that. Are there wars in space between these aliens? I would imagine there would be, right?
I think there is.
Yeah.
I think there is. It's just that the ones that the ones I had experience with, they're the ones, they have the earth. They have the earth, and this is theirs. Right. And the other ones that come through, the other aliens that try to come through and visit, are the hurtful ones. And they could be at war.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how advanced are they? Like, you've been on, have you taken a tour of their ship, or what have you seen of these aliens? Take your time.
They're much more advanced, and they have a language. Like I said, they have a language, but they have symbols.
Right.
And it's I don't know the language, but it's very hard. I've never heard it, so I don't think it's a vocal language. I think it's all telepathically.
Right. You've been really patient with me. I appreciate, I'm asking these questions. And by the way, people who listen to the show know that I don't rehearse with the guest. So it's very appreciated for you to hang in there with me, to ask you all these. I'm probing you more than the aliens probed you, I think, with these questions. Now,
I just didn't want to come off. See, if I say anything, I always fear that it's going to come off as crazy. So I don't call, I don't tell anybody, and, I keep everything to myself.
Yeah, I can understand. Okay. By the way, do you have any idea how far away these aliens are from? First of all, are they from a huge distance away, where it took them 1,000 years to find the planet Earth, to basically lay their eggs, which are the human species, their experiment? Did it take them thousands of years to find us? Were they so far away, or were they relatively close by? Have any idea on that?
I don't know.
Don't know. Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
Are they? Are they time travelers at all? Are they like are they humans that have developed and gone back in time to the planet Earth as it is now, but are they potentially Earth beings far advanced into the future coming back and visiting the historical growth of their being? But then they wouldn't want to destroy us because they would be destroying themselves, right?
Right.
Right.
I wouldn't. I mean that could be possible, but I do know that time travel. So I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I do believe in time travel, and I do know that if they can time travel from one dimension or era to another, that's what that's what they are capable of. That's what that's what they do.
Yeah, what would be really fascinating is if they are time travelers and their experiment on Earth produced us, and we're at a breaking point where we're not developing to the best people we could potentially be. So maybe they are our future ancestors who are coming back to planet Earth to correct things and make things better by taking the best beings of planet Earth, moving them to this other planet in hopes that their future of where they are now will be vastly improved. I wonder if that's at all possible, that they are improving upon us because we are them, and they're going to correct some of the mistakes by correcting us now, which will make them more corrected in the future, which to them is their current time. I wonder if, man, my head's spinning. I wonder if that's potentially true.
It could be. It could be.
I'm making you think now. You're going to go back. You're going to go back to the aliens if you get abducted again and say, "Dave's got it all figured out, guys." Maybe they'll move. Maybe they'll move me to that.
I don't know. I haven't read. I don't know if you've heard of him, Whitley Strieber.
No.
He wrote Communication.
Okay.
And he wrote a book with Art Bell called The Quickening.
I'll have to read it.
He scares me because Whitley Strieber scares me because some of the stuff that he's written, it's so on track, that it's it's like I said, it's scary,
Yeah. So
I truly understand that.
Wow, I have to pick up that book, The Quickening. I'll have to pick that book up and read it. By the way, if you ever do communicate with these aliens, try to convince them that Dave Darren's a decent guy. I'll do radio on their planet, and I'll get them good ratings. And also tell them that if they abduct me, I've got a wife, 2 cats, a dog, and I would like to have 1 car with me as well. So tell them I come with a little baggage. So please prepare spaceship space for my wife, myself, 2 cats, and a dog. And we also need a good quality of health care. Okay, tell them that as well. Okay?
Okay. Can I also add a comment?
Yeah,
a
sure.
totally separate comment?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Why not?
Okay. You were talking about musical groups that you
yeah.
like or sometimes you focus on.
Yeah, that's right.
There's one of my favorite groups. I put it in the text. But the group is called Gandalf Murphy and the Slambovian Circus of Dreams.
Wow. What a name.
And yeah, they're really awesome. They're out of New York, Sleepy Hollow, New York. And if you look them up, they're really awesome. Their music and everything else.
I'll do that. What I'll do is I'll look them up, I'll communicate with them, and I'll ask them if I can use their music on my next show. What I'll do is my next show that I do on Sunday, which is Mother's Day. I'm going to still do a show though. I'll do a show and I'll fill them in while we take a break for Mother's Day. Okay, I'll put them on. I'll put their music on. How's that sound? Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening. I do appreciate.
No, thanks so much for calling. I loved having you on. You're a tremendous guest. I learned a lot. Our fans and our viewers here rather enjoyed having the conversation with you. It was great. Thanks so much for being on the show. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. You have a great night.
Hey, you too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys, so that is pretty much the end of tonight's show because we're at the top of the hour. And it's funny, I came on here to talk about the universe, but I love having guests on that want to talk about what they want to talk about because this show is not supposed to be about what I want to talk about. Now, if I do have a programmed scheduled guest to come on, then we do have to honor the guest and talk about what the guest is on the show to talk about, of course. But in general, if it's an open line thing, open line format, and someone calls in, they want to diverse from the topic that I brought in, absolutely. It was very cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys visit the show each week. I hope you guys share the show because I'm trying to grow a little bit of an audience here because I don't want to go into a political show. I want to do this. It's more fun. I live a much calmer way of life and I'm much more fun this way. So share the show. Tell people about the show. Get them to enjoy the show with us. And as the show grows, we'll have more fun because we'll have more guests. We'll have more to talk about. That's it for tonight, guys. Thanks so much for joining the show. And thank you all for enjoying each other. Talk to you guys later. Ciao.